Hey everyone, hope y'all are doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. And to anyone watching this who's not doing well, um, wish you the best. My heart goes out to you. Wish you a speedy recovery, all that good stuff. So, the lock I have sitting here is a pretty neat lock from a company called Takigen. They are a Japanese industrial manufacturing company. Um, they make all sorts of different industrial products, industrial door hardware, cabinet hardware, um, all sorts of stuff that's not even related to that. But they do make a couple of locks, and the locks that they make are pretty neat. They're generally different than what you're used to seeing, and usually not very easy to get into. I've only seen a couple, but this one here is actually a disc detainer lock. You wouldn't really know it by looking at the key, but there are 5 rotating discs inside. The front and rear discs on this lock are both tensioning discs. They're both 0 cuts. So what that means is you actually only have to pick the 3 center discs in here. Even though that sounds easy, this is no easy task getting this thing open. The keyway is very slim and curved, which makes it so that none of the commercially available picks can fit in there and pick this thing. I had to make my own. So based on the front tensioning disc detainer design, I made this thing out of some spare manufacturing parts. I've got a precision rod coupling here that I drilled out to fit the handle. A compression collar here to hold the tensioning handles. The tensioning nose is made out of a steel roll pin, and the picking tip is made out of an ejector rod. The handle is just the standard handle you get with the cheap disc detainer pick. So, first thing we're going to do here is the same thing we do with all disc detainer locks, and that is going to be to 0 all the discs as far to one side as we can. Generally it is to the right. And then we will insert the pick, try to pick up the first disc, and get to picking. Let's see what we can do. Really difficult to get all of the discs zeroed in this lock, mainly because of the shape of the discs, and I'll show it to you if I get this thing open, if we get it apart. But it's also difficult to get the pick to pick up the discs. See if we can do this. there we are. Alright, so each disc has multiple false gates. Since I know the bitting of this lock, it makes it a lot easier to get into it, but when you don't know the bitting and you're testing the rotation and jiggle for the false gates, it's incredibly difficult to get your pick seated on the disc and figure out what's going where. But anyway, let's try to get this thing taken apart here so I can show you what's inside. So lock it back up just by turning some of the discs. Get the key to work again. Alright, still good. So also, gutting this thing is no easy task. Tried to do this video once before, and around 15 minutes of fiddling with the thing, I decided to stop trying and then try to figure out how to gut it before even shooting again, because it got pretty ridiculous, but I think I have a way to do it now. And let's not, hopefully I don't make a liar out of myself, but let's see what we can do here. There we go. Alright. Gosh, that was not easy. So I'm pretty sure I can just remove the entire disc pack now. There we go. Alright. So that is what the inside of this guy looks like. There's a spring on the back to try to hold everything in place there. Okay. Looks like we have a ton of spacers to deal with. So I guess let's get to taking this thing apart. Looks like one spacer on the front. And this is what the discs are shaped like. So as you can see, it's kind of hard. You're actually picking from here and here, but then when you have to go back, there's a ton of room before you touch the other side of the disc. Alright, so that's disc number 1. And we have, looks like 3 or 4 spacers there before the next disc. This is disc number 2 here. You can see the false gates on that thing there. And another 4 spacers. Disc 3. Come on. Another 4 spacers. Disc 4. More spacers. And we have disc 5. And then I think another 2 spacers at the bottom there. Alright. That is the core, the body there. So it looks like the 0 discs do not have any false gates on them. And the all of the other discs have the true gate, and then every other possible position they have a false gate. And those spacers make it pretty difficult to pick up the disc, because sometimes when you rotate it just right, the spacer pretty much matches up with the disc. So you really can't feel if you're on a spacer or a disc. I don't know if they did that on purpose, or it looks like they did, but it makes it incredibly difficult to pick this thing. So anyway, that is the Takigen disc detainer cam lock. I have no idea of a model number or anything like that, but and here's the sidebar here. But yeah, thing's pretty neat. Alright all, take care, be safe, stay good. Bye all.